Well, here we might be. Let's hope. I'm just getting on the phone. Yep, I think we're there today. Well, we're there at the moment. Right, we are. Hot today. Hot here today. Yes, hot today. Well, how far we get today? Morning, Denise, with Mark's Gospel. We managed to get yesterday, didn't we, a bit further? And what we do here is we take it in pieces. If we get the praise in, well, that's very good. If we get the teaching in, that's very good. We have to accept the internet breaks up for lots of different reasons here. We've switched to a different network. We'll see what happens today. It's we see. Oh, it's a lovely day outside. I hear the children are already coming in, and I think soon, it might be today or next week, perhaps today, they start writing their exams for the end of term, and then next week we have graduation. So that's nice. That's how we do it here, and Mary and I will be the honoured guests at graduation, so that'd be nice. The two classrooms, the new classrooms, will be ready for next term, so we can run 4 classes up there. That's really good. We're pleased about that. We really need to get the top on the next level of the school on. We're praying about that. We had our Sustain launch last night. It was really nice from the computer room. It's still on Facebook. And Paul was talking about the vital nature of our computer room. I look out the window here, right across the valley. I wonder if any of these houses have got computers in them. And how are the children going to learn these computer skills unless we provide for them? So that's what we're doing. We're very happy. I'm very thrilled about that. So that when they get further on, at least they'll know how to use a keyboard and a mouse and how to access the internet. You know, and that's the basic skills which they need, and they can then train on from there in the future. It is a digital age, isn't it? And our children, when they're older, must know how to order online, how to do an invoice online, how to track down what they want to use for their business online, you know, that sort of stuff, which we take, morning Pat, we take for granted. And so we'll give them some basic skills in that. Isn't it lovely, isn't it? That's a really satisfying development here on the school. Morning, Paul. Morning, David. That's a really nice development of in the school. So he also showed you the health centre last night as well. That'll be the next project when this one is complete. And again, it's a vital piece of addition to our work so that the children and their parents, especially their siblings, can get some primary health care. That's the problem here in Ghana. Morning, Heather, there is no primary health care. Everything has to go to the hospital or the clinic. And so they're absolutely jammed up with things that we would take to the surgery or deal with ourselves. And it's that level we want our nurse to deal with. And if we can keep a few children away from the clinic and the hospital, well, that's good, isn't it? And I also want her to teach in the school basic hygiene things. These basic things are missing. And 500,000 children die from malaria, and many, many die from dysentery, which they pick up because they don't wash their hands. I think the World Health estimate, I can't remember the figure, how many children's lives could be saved if they learned to wash their hands. It's incredible, isn't it? So we can run all that. And I'm also keen that the local health authority will use our clinic for clinics, particularly for women's health. I'm very keen on that. So that will be our next project. Morning, Margaret, £10,000, I think we're praying for. That'll employ the nurse for 3 years, as well as setting up the facility so that we won't have to worry about paying her for a bit. So I think that's really, very, very important. And I think it will make a big impact on the community because we'll be here. We're not close to the community use. they can come in and we can provide the minimum. We will charge for our drugs because that's what everyone else does, and otherwise we'll be just overrun. But apart from that, won't charge for our care or stuff, And if the health authority use the clinic, there'll be no charge to them for using that. So I hope that'll work. I'm sure it will. Just a matter of time and plodding on. Someone said to me, do you ever stop having visions? Answer, no. Once we stop having visions, the work will die. So we are in the position now of being able to hire our chaplain. We think we know who it is. We just, you've got to, takes a bit of time, this, and then we'll move on to our nurse and our care facility. A school here in Ghana, I see our base as a community facility, and we want to build some of those things into our work so that the mum over the road whose baby is sick can walk over here and ask the nurse, and then the nurse can say either, you need this medicine or you must go to the clinic. That's what I'm envisaging. That's what's going to happen, I think. And I look forward to that. Morning, Margaret. I look forward to that happening. It certainly will happen. I have no doubt whatsoever. I've never any doubt at all about these things, and we press on. It takes time. All these things take time. A lot of our projects are half done, but they slowly fulfill themselves. When we get our extra 2 computers in and we get the room partitioned off, as you would have seen last night, then that project can run on and we can move on to the next one. Better to have 10 projects of which 5 work than 1 of which none work. That's always been my philosophy. So there we are. How am I this morning? I don't know. All right. Still alive. Morning, Abigail. Looked in the mirror this morning and saw someone that looks like me, so must still be here. There we go. I was playing Gazelle yesterday. Oh dear, she's got some beautiful sounds tucked away. Isn't he beautiful? Isn't he beautiful? Isn't he beautiful? I am beautiful too in his light. And his love. So many people have a poor self-image, don't they? I know. I'm beautiful because he's beautiful and he makes me beautiful too. And I'm not one of 8 billion. I'm Michael, and I wake up this morning and it says, morning, Michael. What's the day got planned today? Beautiful. 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 I had this lovely vision in the night, in this most beautiful place. The sky and the clouds were so beautiful. It shone with beauty, so lovely. That's the heaven where I belong. Beautiful. beautiful. He is beautiful. The Lord is watching over me. The Lord, the Lord is watching. Good job, isn't it? The Lord. Morning, first. Morning, Anita. The Lord. Yes, the Lord is watching over me. Isn't he beautiful? Isn't he beautiful? Isn't he? Isn't he? Isn't he? Isn't he? Beautiful. I lift my eyes up to the hill. Where does my help come from? My help is coming from the Lord. Morning, Rose. Coming from the Lord. Help is coming. Help is coming from the Lord. I just got the unstable warning, so let's just worship on. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hallelujah. Thy kingdom come and thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy will be done on the earth as it is in heaven. For thine is the kingdom, our glory, kingdom, our glory, kingdom, our glory, kingdom, our glory. Hallelujah. There you go. That was Gazelle, by the way, not me. I wasn't going to sing that. It's gone. Oh, it's back, but I think it's going to go any minute. So I can't guarantee anything this morning. So what can you make of these people? We pay a huge sum of money for this network, and that's what we get, rubbish. I think Paul and I are getting pretty cheesed off with it, to be honest, because it's now we switch networks. Well, it's the same NTN. We're having the same problem. That's twice this morning. And I think we just getting fed up with it because we pay a lot of money here. We are the biggest user of internet in the valley. So there you go. Let's carry on as best we can and see where the Lord will take us. We're in Mark's Gospel at the moment. And we yesterday we met the first of the 4 disciples. Andrew, Peter, James, and John. They are going to show themselves in the subsequent chapters as complete and utter idiots. Honestly, that they are such poor quality men. That's such a relief, honestly, isn't it? Because I'm a poor quality man, and I think if all the disciples were actually superstars, I'm sunk. But actually, they got feet of clay like me, and Mark will show them with their feet of clay. For the very simple reason he doesn't want to discourage us. Peter, you know what we say about Peter? He had foot and mouth disease. Every time he opened his mouth, he put his foot in it. He was terrible. And the sons of Zebedee and was hopeless, and they all ran away. That's the thing, you see, the Lord doesn't much. He chooses those he knows can last the course. And if we make loads of mistakes en route, that's okay. That's why I appreciate Mark showing us all the faults. These were great men in the early church. When he was writing, Peter was an absolute superstar. He might be dead by now, I don't know, but he was the founder of the church. Let's give him his due. The Lord called him to be the founder of the church, and he did that. And Andrew, James, and John, these were the superstars of their day. And Mark shows them as clods. As stupid, as blind, as unable to understand, lacking in faith. What a brave man Mark was. He's saying, I tell you what, guys, let me tell you the truth about Peter, because I talked to him. Let me tell you the truth about James and John. And yet these weak, fractured men and women became the founders of our church. It's a relief, isn't it? Don't you think so? That's a great relief. If the Lord wants a superstar, he's picked the wrong man, especially this morning. But the Lord says, Michael, it's okay, all right. I know your weaknesses and your frailties. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll work around them, and we'll do what needs to be done. It's a relief, isn't it? Don't you think? That's why I love Mark. When we get to Matthew, Luke, and John, they're starting to make it's what's called hagiography. By the time we get to another 10 years on, no one would dare say this about Peter because he was such a great man of God. But Mark tells us the truth. I love that. Don't you love that too? Aren't you glad to know that this morning I can see Denise, Pat, Paul, David, Heather, Margaret, Abigail, Anita, Phyllis, and Rose. All your weaknesses and shambles and the rest doesn't matter. Morning, Karen, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's okay. The Lord will work around it. Oh, relief, isn't it? So, chapter verse 21. We haven't done very well, have we? Because we lost 3 already. They went to Capernaum, north of Israel, in Galilee, up on the hill. It'll be a one-horse town, and the horses left. All these places are very, very small in biblical times, just little villages, really. And when the Sabbath came, Jesus went into the synagogue and began to teach. Now, Jesus taught in the synagogues because there wasn't anywhere else. He taught in the synagogues and outside of them. He didn't mind that the fact that this was a Jewish center. He went into the synagogue and preached. The people were amazed at his teaching. Amazed at his teaching. Amazement is not good news in the New Testament. Amazement achieves nothing. I'm amazed that this has happened, but I'm not doing about it. I'm amazed that that's happened. I'm not going to do about it. Amazement has to move to faith. If amazement doesn't move to faith, it falls away. And Capernaum, in the end, as you know, fell away. They were amazed. They were dazzled by his teaching, but they weren't going to accept it, as we'll see later on in the gospel. That's a lot of that in the church today. These big men get up and windbag away and wave their arms and tell these great things, and you Ghanaians are amazed. It's faith we're looking for, not amazement. Amazement achieves nothing. It's faith or nothing. They were amazed at his teaching as he taught with one that had authority, exousia, power. He was teaching with power. He wasn't parroting the Bible, which is what the Pharisees were doing, just reading the old dead words. He was preaching with authority and power. It was living. Well, we know that, we gather that, right? Just then, a man in their synagogue who was possessed by an impure spirit cried out. Now, the point about this is, with the arrival of Jesus, the demonic kingdom is desperately challenged. And so it pops up everywhere as it seeks to defeat Jesus before he can get to Calvary. That's why there's so much demonic activity in the New Testament. The enemy decides, I must crush this man before he crushes me. I find that myself. I find I seem to move in a sea of demonic activity. I don't care, I just kill them. But however, it's interesting what he says. You got to read what the Bible says and not what you think it says. He says this: "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Okay, that's the scripture. What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. So a lot going on there. And it's good to know how to deal with these things. First of all, what do you want with us? Isn't that interesting? Not me, us. It's seldom one demonic force. It's often more than one. They move around in packs, So what do you want with us? Jesus of Nazareth. That's Jesus's oldest title. So this demon is using the oldest title. And we'll come back in a minute. What, have you come to destroy us? Yes. You see, the demons are afraid. In the presence of God or men and women of faith, they are afraid. Don't even give them a thought. Honestly. I once had a demon of another faith appear in my room. And it said, "I am a stronghold of." I laughed. I said, "You're so trivial, I'm not even going to bother to cast you out and go back to sleep." And I did. Because they're nothing, Don't be deceived by them. Don't be tricked by them. However, let's read on. Have you come to destroy us? Yes. 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 I destroy demons. I destroy demonic. I kill them. They come to kill me and I kill them. I don't give a second thought. Off with their heads. That's my motto. What I do is I grab them by the throat. I drag them to Calvary. I stick them there and I say, stay there until the Lord returns. And that's the end of them. I have no time for them. None whatsoever. Have you come to destroy us? Yes, I have come to destroy them. Absolutely right. In this respect, the demon's right. I know who you are, the Holy One of God. Now, this is a very interesting thing to think about. Number one, the demons are fully aware of who we are. We are the children of Jesus of Nazareth. So his power is in us. They know that. We know who you are, the Holy One of God. What this is doing is the demon trying to control Jesus by use of his name. That's quite, don't you do that to your children? No, if you do that again, George, picking people out. I did the other day to Benson. He was causing trouble. I said, Benson, pipe down. I'm going to sort you out. He knows I won't because I love him, but, there we go. The demon is trying to control Jesus. That's what he's trying to do by using his name. At the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow. And the demon is trying to do the same. At the name of Satan, every knee shall bow. So I will proclaim your name and you will bow down to me. So there we are. There's a lot there. First of all, there's always more than one. They're always lurking around. Have you come to destroy us? Absolutely right. That's exactly what I do today. If I find a single thing around here, I'll kill it. I have come to destroy it. I know who you are, the Holy One of God. Well, he can know who I am. I am the Lord's child, but I'm not going to be controlled by the use of my name. So Jesus says, be quiet. Did he? Oh, I don't think so. The NIV is a great translation, but it's been translated by academics who don't do emotion. I'm sure we've got to put it in the African context. I'm not going to do it because I'll blow your computers off. But you can imagine what I would say on a Sunday morning in front of my church when I got to those two words, can't you? Yes, can't you? Phyllis, Rhodes, Anita, Margaret, I would absolutely, the church would echo to the statement. That's what Jesus did. Fimio, come out, exousia, get out, be muzzled, be finished. But what's interesting is Jesus won't let the demon speak. He silences him. Jesus doesn't need testimony from the demonic, and nor do I. My testimony comes from Jesus. This is Michael, my son, my beloved son. That's it. I don't need this filth to give me the testimony, so I shut them up. I personally never speak to them. I've no time for them. What have I got to say to them? Some people get really caught up in it. Once you start, look at Eve. Once she started, she got embroiled in all the snake's curls. Did God really say to you? She should have said, get behind me, Satan. But she didn't. She started to talk to him and then she got caught up. I don't talk to demonic. I won't let them give any testimony, nor will Jesus. Don't need their testimony. What do I need from them? Nothing. What have they got? Nothing. So what do I need from them? Nothing. I'm not afraid. So Jesus won't deal with them. Interesting. I watch a lot of exorcism and I watch people talking to the demons. Not for me, I'm afraid. Morning, Sandra. Not for me at all. Be quiet. Be quiet. And exousia, come out. I think it's exousia. It might be ekbalo. I haven't looked up, but it is a demonic. It is a casting out word. Come out. Be quiet. Be muzzled. Come out. These words will come back to us in Mark chapter 4, by the way. Immediately, the impure spirit shook the man violently and came out of him with a shriek. Well, there you go. I've seen that. But actually, I'm not interested in it because the words of be quiet, come out is good enough for me. I don't need to see anything. But anyway, here we do see it. And it's a big hoo-ha. And the man collapsed on the floor at a thought. That's fairly normal, isn't it? And Jesus would have lifted him up and set him in his right mind, as indeed Lazarus set in his Legion, set in his right mind. Very simple story, isn't it? Packed full of stuff. Absolutely. Here's Jesus teaching with authority, not like the others. There is authority in the power of the word. The trouble is, most preachers in Ghana don't preach it because they don't understand it. They'll wave a verse around, but they've no understanding of what lays underneath it. The power is in understanding the depth of the word. He preached with authority. He preached with authority. He had the authority, and so have I. I have the authority of the king, but I mustn't take that for granted. I must study and pray and read. I didn't look up the Greek this morning. I didn't have time. But nevertheless, studying and praying and seeking the deeper levels is what it's about. Just then, you see now, Jesus is preaching with authority. This is the point at which the enemy attacks. When the word is proclaimed, the enemy attacks at that point. Why do you think he does that? He's scared. He knows that at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, and he's frightened that if that word gets proclaimed, down he goes. So he attacks at the moment of the proclamation of the power of the word. Interesting, that, isn't it? He had an impure spirit. Well, it's a kind of catch-all phrase for some demonic infestation. So, what do you want with us? Yeah, if you have to deal with it, watch out. There's another one lurking around. If I have to deal with a demonic thing, I also sweep the others around as well. I know they're there. So this one's going, and so are you. Join him on the pile. What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? That's his oldest title. I love it, actually. It's a lovely title. It's the one the early church probably used first, the most primitive one. Lovely. Have you come to destroy us? Well, you got that right, guys. So there we are. So there is truth in the mouth of this demon. We have come to destroy you. I know who you are. Don't try that, son. Don't try the name thing, because you're not going to get anywhere. So be quiet and come out. Come out for me is I know it's not my thing, I'm a prophet, but if I have to deal with these things, I send the things to the foot of the cross. That's coming out for me. I don't want to see any great hoo-ha on the floor. Frankly, just clear off and let this child of the Lord be free. This child of humanity be free. And immediately it happened. Now, the people are watching this. Of course, Jesus' ministry is public. So is mine. So if I pray for people, heal people, counsel people, whatever, I do it in front of the church. It's public ministry, not a private one. I know in some great revivals of the past, they set aside rooms where people could go to inquire. Well, okay, that's fine. In my meetings, you do the inquiry right in front of the pulpit, where everyone can see, nothing's hidden. They were amazed and they asked each other, who is this? Or what is this? Says it. A new teaching and with authority. Yep. He even gives orders to impure spirits and they obey him. So this exorcism has attracted them. This is very important. This is the last bit. It's very, very important, this last bit. Okay. Let's look at it. What is this? A new teaching and with authority. He even gives orders to impure spirits. So the exorcism takes second place to the preaching of the word and the authority of the word. Now note that very carefully, everybody, because far too many people in the church today perform sort of miracles in order to attract people's attention. The Lord didn't work like that. The Lord preached the word first, and then the miracles followed after. The signs and wonders follow the proclamation of the word. What convicts and changes is the proclamation of the word, not the signs that follow after. That's a quote from Mark 16:9-20, which is a bit of an insecure text, but the principle is good. The signs and wonders confirm the authority of the word. And these Capernaumites, who will eventually deny Jesus, but at this point they got it right. What is this? A new teaching with authority, and then he commands the impure spirits and they leave him. See, they got it right. We got to get it right. The word is what convicts. I didn't write the Bible. I just preach it. And here's the clear pattern. First, we proclaim the word. The early church called it the kerygma, the truths about Jesus. First, we preach those, and then the signs and wonders will follow afterwards. The signs and wonders flow from the authority of the word. If it's the other way around, it's easy to think that the power of the healing is in the man or woman that did it. Oh, this is a great man of God. Look how he heals people. No. This is a great man of God. Look how he preaches the word, and healings follow. See, oh, Mark, I've already warned you about him. He's a very skillful writer. He's making it very clear now to the 21st century church, the order in which things are done. First, the proclamation of the word, then the miracles and signs and wonders. If we go that way round, we'll be okay. If we do it the other way around, well, we're out of step with the way the Lord did it. As simple as that. See how he very carefully weaves in something very profound in what is almost a throwaway remark. And consequently, because of this, because of the preaching and the healing, news about him spread quickly over the whole region of Galilee. How does good news spread? Word of mouth. You know, we are addicted in the 21st century. Must get on Joy FM, must get on City TV, must write a book, must do a video. No, the best recommend. I was reading about a businessman recently who built a business, a big one, from nothing. And he said, I don't advertise. The best recommendation for my work is word of mouth. That's how the message of the kingdom moves best. When one says to another, come and hear this man. He is telling us things I've never heard before, and they'll be life-changing. From mouth to mouth to mouth to mouth. That's how the kingdom has always grown. Because you see, you can turn this off or ignore me, but when I'm sitting opposite you and I'm saying, you know, you should really come and hear this, it's a different story. We pass the message mouth to mouth, hand to hand, person to person. That's what Mark is telling us. And as a consequence, the message spread over the whole region of Galilee. It went north. Jesus' ministry began in the north of the country and only later came down to Jerusalem, began there and moved down. Great, isn't it? Don't you think? Mark is great. I love him. I mean, he's actually brilliant. You just got to be so careful you don't miss his jewels, because instead of sticking big arrows and pointing at them, he says, well, if you can't find them, you shouldn't deserve to have them. Well, we're finding them. It's fantastic, don't you think? Fantastic, that. Really love that. So after this, we come to Jesus praying. And that's a very interesting thing to look at as well, if we can keep the internet up. So thank you, everybody. Nice to see you. Not here this week in the weekend. You know, Saturday, Sunday, I don't do Chatterbox. Sunday morning, I'm preaching at a Thanksgiving service. And Saturday, I've got a conference all day. It's on Facebook, 9 to 10:15 and 10:45 to 12 on our Facebook page. I'm preaching and doing that live from the conference, if you fancy it. And see you Monday morning. God bless. Bye-bye.